And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time, Victoria 3. In the second run, it was the Great Qing, to see how quickly we can get the GDP up and how high we can get the GDP up. This is the second attempt at it recorded for YouTube and Twitch. In the previous version, we tried to go for proportional taxation a little bit too early, and it didn't quite work. Looking at it now, we probably are at the point where it is time to make that switch. Proportional taxation is apparently up by about 100,000 in revenue, and likely to only continue growing at this point. In this case, we actually want the scholar officials to be powerful, so giving them big farmer corruption here is probably the way to go. Make the army a little bit happier. That's always a good thing to see. Military research speed is not bad. Or is that spread or speed? Speed. Maybe looking at needing to expand the bureaucracy soon a little bit as well. Trying to run out of surplus bureaucratic points. And this is with happy petit bourgeoisie providing 20% extra. Hopefully everything goes well. It's looking less and less likely we're going to fail commercialized agriculture as it's advancing. So we'll see if it keeps going in our way. Rotary valve engine, that's not bad. Successfully progressed to consideration. Good. And we're working on getting the credit rating down. In fact, we might actually want to start... Well, no, we're going to wait off until steel frame buildings is done. The moment steel frame buildings is done, we're going to start the transition into all that steel frame buildings provides. That's going to cost us money over time, so... There we go. So, initially we get this buff right off the bat, so a bunch more trade capacity over the land routes, more construction progress, more space for construction sectors in places where we've already got them maxed out, more infrastructure, also allows us to cover markets for the urban centers, which we will do eventually. Allows us also to swap over to steel frame buildings, which is glass and steel. That's one reason why every time you probably see me popping over to the luxury ones, why I haven't been addressing the fact that porcelain is actually reasonably expensive. And the answer is because when we build up the glass industry to support our buildings, we're going to be making so much porcelain. So much porcelain. That, yes, there's stuff I could have done to fix this temporarily, but then we'd have way too much when we went to the steel frame buildings. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're swapping to. The question here now is how quickly can we swap? I think we've got enough that we can do at least one of our sectors. So we'll start with Beijing. Actually, no, we shall start with Shaanxi. And we'll see what the balance is with that. Tech-wise, I'm going to delay human rights and corporatism because I've recognized we can go ahead and pick up gantry cranes. This will, one of the things we've been recognizing that is potential for consumption demand is fish, so being able to get over to steam ships for the civilian industries I think will be really strong. Okay, glass, even with that jump up, was stable, so we swap the next one. And another one. And it looks like another one. No, this is one we're just going to take for the second sons. And another one. And then we'll have to Probably queue up some glass before we can go even farther. I need... In fact, we need glass so badly, and it's really the only thing holding us up. We will go ahead and just queue the glass up and push it to the top of the queue. 45 glass workshops is basically what we're looking for right now. And again, I think I'm going to do the trick of everyone that doesn't have any construction is going to get kicked at the bottom. We'll finish what we've got stuff working on already, or partially invested in already. There we go. And then as the glass comes on, we'll swap even more over to the new construction method. Sold over 4 investments, apparently. Yeah, no, we want the enactment success rate, so we'll take this choice. That's another corporation. What do we want for the next corporation? That is a good question. It says we could do the paper consortium. The farm one would be better if it included rice, which it doesn't, and if it provided something that was like a better buff. Oh, that's the one that includes rice. But again, it's the livestock it's not more interested in. Yeah, I think it is... We'll take the breath rate. In the long run, I think that will be stronger than the bureaucracy buff. We've got a 55% chance of success on commercialized agriculture. That's a good probability that'll move. Oh, debate failure. It slows it down a bit. Reach loaders for the artillery. So that allows us to make artillery cheaper. I think the civilians built the artillery foundry because we don't actually have... Our country doesn't actually build any artillery armies running full infantry. Making that glass. I want to get a little bit lower before we do a little more swaps. Granted, I think the reinvestment construction is probably going to decline very rapidly for a short period of time once we start to commercialize, because there's going to be lots of privately owned farms that are not owned by the ownership class. They're going to want to get national or get privatized to them. Down to 30%. Yeah, that's a good step in the right direction. Let's do a couple more swaps. See where we are. Back up to 46, back down to 39. Those are a trend line we're looking for. Rest of them swapped over to steel frame. Once we drive the price of glass back down, we'll go swap over the urban centers. Because right now, if we were to swap like this on the urban centers, I think the urban centers would struggle with the glass price. They're even struggling with the glass price already. So let's not make that worse. We're dealing with some radical rebels. I don't think the Persians are that screwed. We'll give them 2 armies. It looks like they've got enough fronts that will warrant 2 armies. I suppose, thinking about mobilization, we probably have enough groceries now. We can decide that these guys get full extra food treatment. Make them real strong. Okay, give it a couple weeks for those glass factories to hire up, and then we'll put another round of glass in the construction queue. So, we do also want more lead, apparently. At least it's only like 15 things of lead. It's not a lot of lead. Oh, swap a little bit more over to hardwood. Could probably go even a little bit more because the wood price is pretty low. Yeah, we definitely want more glass production. About 70 things of glass. Okay, let that build. We're going to need a couple railways in Beijing to support that, of course. Okay, so gantry claims. I'm gonna hold off on trying to update the Navy. We'll do human rights and we'll swap over to the old age pensions. That's basically the plan. After we swap over the tax code. Oh, I'm thinking build PMs. So, come over here, swap shipyards, steamships. Yes, right now for the default it won't be profitable. It's fine because we're going to swap over the things that consume it as well. Obviously including the ports, otherwise we're going to have problems with the ports. Electrical power generation is something we're probably going to dabble in soon. But yeah, big influx of fish, though that's probably the last big influx of fish, so we're going to have a good luck trying to keep the fish prices low. Commercialized agriculture. There we go. A little worried it wasn't going to pass, but it did in the end pass. So we want to swap over to proportional. That is supported by the petite bourgeoisie, the armed forces, and the rural folk. So the biggest government we can make with people out of that set is the way we want to go. That is stable. Can we bring the rural folk as well? No, the rural folk will be one step too far. Land-based taxation is currently the one we're on. Swapping the proportional will increase revenue by 145. Also removing the flat tax on peasants by giving us a dividends tax, increasing the income tax rate. So I think that is just a good swing. That's what we'll swing next. Want us to swap to independent farmers? No. We just moved in your direction. We're not moving farther that way. I have glass in the queue. I do. Put glass in the queue. Probably going to get these three around 10%, and then we'll swap over to very rapidly increasing the grain production. I suppose we can do a little bit more with tools. What's rubber looking like?
Oh.
It's about 150 surplus. Let's use about 45 or 450 or more rubber by swapping tools over. Like so. That drives the tool price down a little bit. Drives the rubber price up a lot. Which encourages the civilians to build the rubber. You didn't want to help. These guys might want to help. What would you... Well, I don't want to help you just for helping you. I want, like, subject status, which you're not on board with. Line go up. We like when line goes up. Have we overlorded you? That's the question. I don't think so. No, we have. Okay. And mostly puppets down the line, except for the two protectorates that we can't get to fixed. So yeah, if we want more, I think it's time to start integrating these guys more thoroughly. What's your... It would not accept... Yeah. Apparently we're not scary enough to just get them to give up and become one. They're an 18%. You're 52%. Hold out a little bit. Don't necessarily need those territories right now. Oh, are we up to... We must be up to date on industry tech. Interesting. We're up to date on industry tech. Well, that's cool and sad. That means we're not getting any spread, so... Spread's coming in the other sides, like socialism, ironclads. Yeah, so I guess once we got the stuff we need for old age pensions, we'll probably take the back into industry, get telephones, for example. Do telephones. Oh, telephones, central planning. Okay, so we definitely need more society tech. Telephones would be actually a little early at the moment. Trying to see if there's anything here that I'm wanting to rush to. We do have oil, right? So I suppose I could do something like nitrogen filtrate or nitrogen fixation. Could even do nitrogen fixation and not use chemical, or pick up nitrogen fixation for the chemical fertilizers, not for the nitrogen fixation process specifically. So just keep the oil demand down. And we managed to get through Heavenly Kingdom without triggering it. What is our expectation of the standard of living? About 7.2. So everyone's got a pretty big gap in there. So we could really crank this overdrive by cranking the taxes up. We'll wait until we get past proportional taxes so we can see how much of a difference that's going to make. Yeah, okay, so I need to... What are we putting in the queue next? We're in the glass. Everything else looks pretty stable. So I think it's farm time. 7.1 thousand demand for grain. So we got basically two different choices. I can go wheat, or I can go rice. Depending upon where we want to play. If we wanted to continue to say build up Shaanxi, that would be wheat. We've got the space here that we would not unemploy peasants, and we do have a nice 15% agriculture buff here. The alternative is to go down to say Guidong or east or west Guidong and do rice. There's no modifier here. We just have a nice river access. Or in that case, it's a port. So we probably want to do Western Guidong. But we are basically full in peasants here. So we'd be de-peasanting by displacing, which isn't necessarily the best way to do that. Yeah, I think we'd probably do rice down here. So they swap you to single crop, and then just crank out What's each of these doing? Providing 90 food. And let's say... So we can say it's 100, right? It'll be a little bit less than 100, but let's say it's 100. But then we want to say build the full 7,000 instead. So that would be about 700 grain? That's a lot of grain. 700 rice farms. Yeah, that'd be about... is it 700? No, because it's 100 each, so it's 70. Still quite a lot. So let's go ahead and we'll queue that up. So that's... What are we up onto here? That's 25, so it'd be 3 of those, and then 70 of these. And go. You want a diplomatic play against Great Britain. Or I'd get hit with a -5 opinion on those factions. Who's in that one? The army. So you take a hit from the army and the Confucians. We're just gonna say this is not interesting. So we'll just take that hit now. Glass is coming down. We probably want more glass. $200. So you can see that's we started it when it was like 160, and now it's up to 200, and we haven't even passed it yet. So revenue from proportional taxation is going to go through the moon once we really buckle down and start doing it. There's proportional taxation. What's the next law pass we want to do? Well, it's probably the wage subsidies. Right now this is opposed by the scholar officials and the industrialists. Why do the scholar officials actually oppose it? I don't remember the scholar officials being opposed to welfare. Yep, they're just opposed to welfare. Okay. Don't remember that, but we should be able to force it through with a reasonably powerful Confucian group, usually. So we might have to do it in slightly different order. We'll probably bring in the Confucians once they stop being democratic, and then swing up from that troop. Oh, because I need them to have corporatist first. Corporatist first. That's what we need. So corporatist, they don't have piety to lose, but they will pick up corporatist anyway. I don't know if you can think about it. That will give them the desire for wage subsidies. Well, for some form of welfare. They prefer wage subsidies, but we're gonna push them to take the neutral option, which is old age pensions. They also will then want religious schools, so we can probably empower them by wanting healthcare as well. Right, so they want public healthcare. So we could technically do religious schools or charity hospitals and empower them, but we can also just do public healthcare, get that going. And then I don't think, because the scholar officials are opposed to it, but they'll be happy enough that we can probably just pass it under their nose and they won't really care. Oh, we were gonna... Everyone's happy enough. Time to raise taxes. Taxes. We need a little bit of government administration. And then, yeah, expansion of construction. So first off, let's just go every place that we've intentionally put things. So these two are going to get ignored because they're places we've taken over that have some. Not that. Ah, I see. They're Burma. The two Burma ones. We're going to go the Burma ones. Okay, and construction increase. We'll give it a couple weeks to kick in. So those places higher up, though they probably don't need very long to hire up. They're probably hired up by now, yes. And then it looks like we can probably get away. Oh, it's like 6 times 25? Like 150. So we can probably get another way with another 2 zones having places. And of course that means we'll need more glass and more stuff, and yeah. Glass and steel and such, but also a lot more construction. Oh, and we've run out of stuff in the construction queue. Whoops. Whoops-a-daisy. I went through the farms faster than I was expecting. I doubt the farms have hired up that fast. Oh no, the farms have hired up that fast. Apparently, increasing food production has increased the demand for food. It's fair. Oh, and we got 29. What? Oh, it's just showing me the top. Some number. Okay. We still need more stuff in the queue, because the queue's actually grown so much that even not being done with what's in the queue is meaning the queue's run out of space. Run out of empty stuff soon. Okay. So lead, we want like another 15 lead mines. Oh, and we're going to want power plants everywhere. So 1 power plant everywhere. They're not going to be profitable right off the bat, but we're going to want one everywhere. We're not quite ready for mass electrification of various industries. We lack the techs for them. Then we come over to buildings, over to development, and the power plants. Well, it doesn't matter whether we're going to set the power plants or not, because we're on laissez-faire. We will set them subsidized. Okay, and apparently we do still want more grain. I was thinking that was going to be plenty, but no. Another 8,000 grain. Almost, oh yeah, basically 90 grain, 90 rice farms worth. Somewhat ignoring the fact that you need to hire up, but you've got the workers for it, so it'll be fine. And then 90 here. And then we'll want meat as well. That only comes from... Well, a little bit comes from whaling stations. We're not going to worry too much about the whaling stations. Most of it comes from meat ranches. Livestock ranches. each of which is making 30 meat right now. So we need about 40 of those. I want to be out in boondocks up here, probably. Or we've got places where the rural stuff can only be... Well, that one can be livestock and grain. There we go. There's one that wants to be. So we want to grab like one railway, make that all livestock. Make that all livestock. Trying to use it the places that have to be livestock before we just plop it anywhere. I remember there being more places that were basically just livestock. There we go. There is a livestock only one. Oops. Not the power plants, the railway. And we'll swap all those over to livestock. There we go. That should be enough meat for a while. Human rights. Corporatism, and that'll give us some options like breaking the religious. Oh, because the petite bourgeoisie went Republican. That's why the government's not particularly stable right now. Contested government will work, at least for our taxes for the moment. May have overexpanded a little bit, but I think it'll work out in the short term. And by overexpand, I mean overexpanded the construction a little bit. Working through the power plants. And the rice farms in the province down there is not taking very long. They build pretty fast. Got a little bit of a skill gap issue, I think, here. Probably shortage of farmers. No, that's not what it's having, apparently, an issue with. Why are you having an issue? Because you're profitable, I assumed it was a farmer issue. We'll subsidize it temporarily. Because right now we've got 1.2 million unemployed there that need to go work on the farm. You need to accept the new farming lifestyle. Otherwise, they're going to be a little bit unemployed. Okay, we need like 90 glassworks. Yeah, so we're subsidizing them to get them onto the building, because the wages apparently did good stuff. Still profitable, but they just want more wage. Okay. And nationalism, that gave us more authority. We're not going to use, apparently, right away, unless we get... Yeah, not enough to do anything with. Oh, before I forget, we do need to keep the military reasonably well staffed. Otherwise they're going to lose their position of power and prominence. Don't need more tools yet. I think it's just mostly glass, steel, and we do need more fertilizer, as kind of expected. We built up the agriculture as a cost, we need more fertilizer. $25 of these. Oh, we're gonna need more government bureaucracy. We ran out of stuff in the queue again. Well, it didn't run out, but I'm currently building everything in the queue is maybe a different way to think about it. Working on glass. I don't think I got any steel in the queue, so let's build some steel. So about 50 steel mills. How is Glassworks going? It is. So we can build up, as tool demand goes up, we can probably build up the rubber. So let's put a bunch of rubber in the queue. Well, let's get all the domestic stuff built, and then we'll start building abroad the rubber. Oh, I remember why the grain wasn't, why the grain did what it did. I forgot we were importing grain from the French. It's probably at the point where we need to be contemplating exports. What can we push out to the world? And we have lots of capacity to produce. Opium's one choice. Okay, opium... Opium, silk. Yeah, pretty much the agricultural goods is a good way to start. Export opium, the French, Portuguese. You know, when it comes to opium, we want you to be favoring affecting the imports, because we're going to be exporting it. And the next luxury good to export is probably the tea. Tea and wine. Paraguay, America, Scandinavia, Ottomans, and the Japanese. All will receive our nice cheap tea. And then, same thing with silk, we'll export some silk. We'll see how stable our trade rates, or how growing our trade rates are with that list. Well, that's a question. How easy would it be to get off of mercantile policy onto free trade? Terribly hard. Everyone but the industrialists are opposed to it. Protectionism's a little bit easier, because only the industrialists are opposed to it. Can I even form a stable government with the rural folk? No. And I don't think we're in a position where we could realistically get the corn laws to go at this point, now that we've expended grain production so heavily. Well, the war would do it. So that we just mobilize for the war. So we could go for another round of grain increase. Apparently need more glass. And more engines. That's like 50 engine makers right now. 50, and then what was the ratio on that? That was like 4 to 1, so you're gonna want like 10 steel makers in the same place. You're building. Okay, see how that looks. One problem with the rapid expansion here is you can kind of get into situations where expansion also drives the GDP down because you're driving the prices down on various things. While we're waiting for consumer demand to rise to meet the new production. A lot of subsidies. I think it's mostly that one. I was about to say it was that one rice farm, but apparently it isn't anymore. Corporatism. Grab the taxation capacity, and then we'll look. I'm not necessarily thinking we want to take 4 years to do central planning, but we do want to do central planning at some point. Although we are on tier 4 on productions, what we might do is after identification targets, pick up electric railways and start electrifying the engines and the engines and the trains and such. A lot of things to electrify would be very productive to do. Even the sewing machines would be productive to do, yeah. So I think electrification is in our near-term future. So that's where the game gets a little bit tedious. So I think we're going to leave that for the next part. So when we have the next tech spread to us, which is electrical capacitors, we'll put the part break in, and then we'll pick up the next one with electrification. First of the clothing industry, then probably of the engine and rails, and then a few other things. Glass is a little bit expensive, but I suspect, other than the initial cost, transition here is going to cause a lot of things to actually stop being produced. Been forgetting to swap over to covered markets. Swap over to covered markets. Raises glass demand, but at the same time, should in the midterm lower demand, well, should increase the supply of services for places, right? And we do actually surprisingly have, well, actually, yeah, no, we have places where service demand is actually reasonably expensive. Just don't think any of the big states. Big states are probably oversupplied. Let's see where is the service demand the cheapest? Western Hubei, Tabriz, Guangxi. If we go to Guangxi, is it still a profitable urban center there? No. It's oversupplied because it hasn't fired anyone yet. That's what's happened. It is going to fire people eventually. And lowering the glass prices alone is not going to make a difference because we've crashed the service price too much there. We'll see. In the short run, I think that has probably crashed the GDP again a little bit as well. But in the long run, that will be a little bit more productive because we'll free up workers to work on other things. The next construction job we're going to queue up, which is going to be a little bit tedious, is we're going to start electrification of the sewing industry. And then, what, welfare? If we can bring the church in, we should be able to try to swing at old age pensions. Can we make a stable government with the church? No, because they're currently democratic. I think that's where the main thrust of the penalty there is coming from. Ideological incompatibility, 32. Distribution of power, bureaucracy, welfare. Distribution of power and bureaucracy are the double whammy from them being Democrats. So we gotta wait until they stop being Democrat, basically. And then we can probably form a stable government with them. What? Agitators do we have abroad that we can pull in? We can pull in a nihilist, which I don't care about. The labor movement isn't too bad. But these are all intelligence here, guys. Aren't really going to help us with what we want to do. It says we could, well, the corporatist movement, I suppose I could reduce taxes and bolster the corporatist movement. Do I still have decrees that we've been forgetting about? I do. It's probably time to pull those decrees. And that frees up enough that we could actually do bolstering of the corporatist movement. We want the corporatists to be reasonably strong because they support sort of law changes we want. Well, actually, well, their leaders will support the law changes we want. They're not really going to help us move to the neutral on the option. Right. But they're... I know there's a place where it shows you what leader types it will increase the likelihood of showing up. Corporatist. There we go. So we don't necessarily want corporate state. We'd actually possibly accept that, right? If we ended up with a scenario where like all the monarchist factions ended up corporatist for a little bit, we'd probably just swing to that type. We want public schools, so that'd be good. Technically, the religious version of it doesn't want public schools. It's neutral on public schools, but we're on public schools. That's good. We'd be good with regulatory bodies. We'd be good with... the leaders will help us swap to old age pensions because we're currently in nothing, but we don't really want wage subsidies. We'd really want old age pension. Let's bolster these guys, and then I can set the taxes back to normal, or not the taxes, the wages back to normal. Take a little bit of time, work the queue down a little bit, and then we'll take the pause for the break. So the GDP's been a little bit wiggly. I think we've been as high as 4.63, or 463. We're currently in a little bit of a low. We're down like 12 million GDP from the peak. But I think we're starting to trend back up again, so if we can get a little bit more stable growth going on, I think we'll happily get up there again. Glass is a drag, engines are dragged. Electrification will help with some of this, right? So we want more clothes. Electrifying the entire clothes industry would not be a bad idea. Oh, and we built up the rubber so I can make more tools that way. Oh, and we can electrify the explosives as well. What kind of rubber is that? 1,000 more rubber? We're getting enough rubber that we can at least not put ourselves into deficit, or into shortage. So we'll do that, cycle a week. Let's see where the rubber went. Yeah, rubber's expensive, but I think that's fine for the moment. And then help drive the tools down. Not too low, the tools at least. Okay, before I continue procrastinating, let's go ahead and put a part back in. So if you're watching on YouTube, believe there'll probably be another part today if I'm doing 2 parts a day. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break to stretch the legs, sip a little bit of tea, and then we'll get right back to it. The next bit will probably be a little bit slower than this bit, in gameplay-wise, because we're going to do electrification. So actual date time in the next one's probably going to be pretty slow moving, but we'll get a lot of physical activity in my fingers in the next one going. So until the next one, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.